Hello YouTube, this is Cyber Aquarist, and this video is for Cichlidman09's forum on water changes. So I'm going to show you guys how I do a weekly water change. I do this every week. Right now I'm using my Aquarium Pharmaceuticals tap water filter to remove all the impurities from my tap water, and I can get 150 gallons from one of these cartridges. Right now it's exhausted up to here. I still have probably a third left, but right now I'm collecting my water for topping off my evaporated water. I put this in a 10-gallon reservoir from my auto top-off system, and once I get it, the 10-gallon aquarium filled up, I'm going to run this hose down the hallway over the balcony into a 55-gallon trash can container and a 15-gallon bucket. So it's going to take me quite a while to fill up all these containers. Once I get them filled up, I'm going to show you guys how I reconstitute the water, because the tap water filter removes everything, removes all the impurities as well as the general hardness and carbonate hardness. I'm pretty fortunate with my tap water here where I live. My general hardness and carbonate hardness are less than 1 degree, but I have extremely high levels of silicates, 2 milligrams per liter, which causes diatom algae to get out of control. So that's basically why I use the tap water filter, and also for my topping off, evaporated water. I don't want any minerals in my auto top-off system, because as you know, minerals do not evaporate, but the water does. So if you're just using straight tap water to top off your aquarium, then you're going to have an increase in general hardness and carbonate hardness over time. But this removes all the chlorine, so I don't even have to use any kind of a water conditioner. But I will show you guys what I do add to this water to make it ready for my aquarium. So this is Friday night, and I'm going to get back with you on Saturday when all my containers are filled up. Alright, I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning. Okay guys, now I have 65 gallons of pure deionized aquarium water, and in this 55-gallon container I've got 50 gallons of water. And I normally don't fill up the 15-gallon container, but today I'm going to try to do a higher percentage. So this one's holding 15 gallons, this is 50 gallons. I've already added my cichlid lake salt, but I still need to add my buffer. It takes longer for the salt to dissolve. You can see there's just a couple little particles of salt left. I'm going to let this keep mixing a little bit. This one's already pretty much dissolved, but I'm going to go ahead now and get my buffer measured out and add the buffer to each one of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and start my water change. But I've got power head in here circulating the water, power head in here. I don't have a heater in the 15-gallon, but I do have a heater in the 50 gallons. It's a high Dorothea heater here on the sides, 300 watt. And then this is my return pump. It's a Mag Drive 12, and I'm going to actually hang this over the aquarium when it's time to refill. But let me go ahead and get the cichlid buffer mixed up. Show you guys how I do that. I'm going to add it to the containers. Alright guys, I'm now going to add my Malawi Victoria buffer. I need 14 grams per 10 gallons. So the 50 gallons I'm going to need 70 grams. And in the 15-gallon bucket, I'm going to need 21 grams. So what I do is I turn on my scale here with my collection cup on it, because you don't want to, put this on there without it being zeroed out, because it'll actually weigh this too. Let me zero it out again. But let's see. All right, when I turn it on, it's going to be 0. Now I'm going to add 70 grams. This will bring my pH up to 8.2. What I do is I just keep adding this until I get 70 grams. And then I'm not going to go all the way up to 70 on camera, but you get the point. I'm going to get this to 70 grams, and then I'm going to measure out 21 grams for the 15 gallons. And I'll let that mix up while I'm removing the water from the aquarium, and it'll be good to go. So this is a lot more accurate than just going with a you know, the 1 teaspoon per 10-gallon method, because, you know, 1 teaspoon may not be, they all might not be exactly the same. So I just measure it out using this, and once I get 70 grams for the 50 gallons, I'll add it, and I'll add 21 grams to the 15 gallons. Alright, I'll be back with you guys in a minute when I start taking the water out. Okay guys, I got my gravel vac hooked up, and it's hooked to a 5/8 inch hose running out my front door, tied into my sewer clean out. Got a hose barb right there connecting the hose, and I'm going to go ahead and do a gravel vac. I gravel vac as much of the substrate as I can every time I do a water change, because the benefits of removing any detritus, fish waste, or decomposing fish food far outweighs not disturbing the substrate. Like I mentioned in one of my other videos, that if you have an external filter with the media external of your aquarium, then your media is protected. If you're using an under gravel filter, you may want to only siphon half of your gravel at one time, but as long as you keep up with it from day one, you know, vacuuming your substrate each time, you'll be forcing your media to colonize your external biomedia. Well, I mean, it'll grow on the substrate as well, but every time you do a gravel vac, if you remove any, it's just going to multiply inside your filter. So let me go ahead and get started doing the gravel vac. Can't do that while I'm filming. And once I get it down to the level here, I've got, the first time I did this for 65 gallons of water, put a piece of Scotch tape on the outside of the glass, and I used my mag float or my mag scraper, and I run it down to that level so that I can easily tell whenever I've pulled out 65 gallons of water. I have another mark for 40 gallons just above it over there, which I'll slide it up when I do a 40-gallon water change. But today's a 65-gallon. So, alright guys, let me go ahead and get started vacuuming the substrate, and I'll get back with you when I'm ready to start filling this aquarium up. Alright guys, I'm going to attempt to show you what I'm pulling out when I plunge my gravel vac into the substrate. Don't know if you can really see that, but all that is decomposed or decomposing fish food waste. And when you remove all these particles from the water, you're removing them before they have a chance to release the nitrogen into the water and become nitrogenous compounds and, you know, raise your nitrate levels. So, like I said, the advantages of removing this decomposing material will help your nitrates be lower in the end. Look at all that. All that leftover fish food and waste. And some of that's some of the substrate, but it'll kind of go up about halfway and then fall back down. But just want to show you guys what I'm removing. I mean, it can be worse than that if you don't do it every week, but I gravel vac every week. So, alright, let me just keep doing this. I'll get back with you here in a little bit. Okay guys, I finished pulling the water out of the aquarium, doing a gravel vac. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the water back to the aquarium. Just flip the switch here, and the water will be pumped out of the 50 gallons, 55-gallon container. All 50, then I'll drop the pump. I'll turn it off, slide this trash can out of the way, move the 15 a little closer, drop the Mag Drive 12 inside the 15-gallon bucket, and pump it back in and turn my filter back on. See, it fills up really fast. The water level was just above the T there. It's already a couple inches above it. So it's going to take around 6 minutes to pump this 50 gallons. I'll let you see it's moving down pretty quickly. And what I'll also do too is I'll lean the trash can over once it gets really low, and I'll turn the intake of the pump down at the bottom rim so that it pulls just about every bit of the water out. And as this one's pumping out, I'll take any leftover water in here and pour it in there, and then when there's any leftover water in there, I'll just pour it into the aquarium. I use every drop. Well guys, it's very important to keep up with your water changes. This wasn't quite a 50%, but I'm using a denitrification media. My nitrates were around 2 milligrams per liter when I tested it this morning, and it should go down, you know, just over 1 because I didn't do a 50% water change. But that is very, very acceptable for this many fish in a 150-gallon aquarium. It's very important to keep up with your water changes even though your nitrates are very low, because you're replenishing lost minerals and trace elements, and your fish will just do better overall, you know, whenever you keep up with your water changes. So let me go ahead and get this filled back up. I'm getting ready to swap the pump over here in just a minute, and once I get the filtration turned back on, I'll film it and let you guys take a look. Okay guys, I've finished filling up the aquarium. The filtration is back up and running. It's going to take a couple hours for it to clear up all the way, because when the water's being added back to the aquarium, some of the particles that were resting in the holes in the lace rock got stirred up. But a couple hours later it'll be 100% clear. I'll give you a shot all the way through. You see all the way through, no problem. And like I said, you know, there's some suspended particles that were trapped in the lace rock, you know, with all the water being added back in. But it'll be crystal clear after a couple hours. And guys, like I said, I don't use any dechlorinator when I'm using the tap water filter, because it removes the chlorine as well as all the other undesirables and contaminants. But if I were to use a dechlorinator, I would recommend Seachem's Prime or Safe. I've never used Easy Life's fluid filter medium, but I've heard great things about it, so I would recommend that as well. But water changes, guys, are a vital part of keeping a successful and healthy aquarium. So be sure to do them on a regular basis. And I want to thank Cichlidman09 for having this series, you know, like a forum where all of us can, you know, combine all of our resources and experience and share them with one another. I think you're doing a great service for our community for us. I really appreciate it. Hope this helps some people out. If you have any questions, just send me a message and I'll be sure to answer them. Okay guys, well, appreciate you watching. This is Cyber Aquarius saying take care. Have a good one.